Hey guys, welcome back to 44's channel. If you're new here, hello, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. My name is Jess. I'm a life coach and I post videos every Saturday. So today I'm starting a new series. You may have seen the other series that I did. It was on the 12 laws of the universe. Well, I decided to start another one. So this one is going to be on this book that I found. It's spoken about quite a lot in the personal development circle, but it's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So this is the edition I have. I personally wouldn't get this edition again because it's quite like the font, as you can see, is very small. Yeah, it's luckily my eyesight is pretty good, so I can read this, but I'm pretty sure someone like my mom would definitely complain about the font size. So if you want to get this book, which I would definitely recommend, maybe get one with font size that's bigger than this. So this book was written in 1934, so it's quite an old book. What I find particularly interesting about it, and because I've only started reading it now and I'm gonna read more and then make videos as I read, so I haven't read the whole book basically, so I'm reading and then making a video on that particular chapter. And what I found really interesting about this book was that it was written during the Depression. So you know, the Depression was this huge economic disaster that happened ages ago, and I thought it's relevant reading it because we're in a stage now with COVID and like the economy isn't doing so well, particularly in South Africa. Lots of people have lost their jobs, unemployment has gone up, so it's not a very wonderful time. So I think it's interesting because this was written in 1934, but as I read it, I'm like, oh, it feels like it's so many years later and it feels so relevant still. So this book basically, it's about like what Napoleon Hill did was that he gathered all this information on how people become successful, and there's 14 different principles. So something to bear in mind that because this was written in 1934, it's very outdated in terms of diversity and inclusivity. So it's mainly, I'm pretty sure like white men would be all of them. So no females, no non-white people. So I think, yeah, so that's definitely like a problem with this book. But I feel like the principles are still true, like the principles of success are still true. So yeah, let's get into what it is. So as I say, he gathered all this, well, I think he did. I know that there were 5, I don't know if he did or somebody, I know there's somebody else whose name is Andrew, so I'm not sure how he fits in, but they analyzed 500 successful men and they worked out what made them successful. And then in the preface of the book, do you say preface or preface? I think it's preface. Napoleon Hill is busy saying that you don't have to incorporate all 14 principles of success. So he said maybe you're reading this book and only one of them applies to you. So it's not like you have to do all 14 and then you become successful. It could just be one that resonates with you. And he was also saying that self-reflection is actually the most important thing. So maybe none of these appeal to you, but because you read something, it got you thinking, and then by thinking you came up with another way. So he's basically saying that self-reflection, like instead of just reading the book and whatever, like actually self-reflect and try apply things to you and think, oh, I disagree with that, and like go into it. Why do you disagree with that? And by going into it and thinking about it more, then that might trigger something for you. So the first principle and the first episode of this series is called Desire. So that's chapter 2 of this book. Chapter 1 was just the introduction. So Napoleon Hill speaks about how it's very important to have a burning desire for something. And while this book is called Think and Grow Rich, so that means like money, it can apply to absolutely anything. So you don't need to just want money in order to watch the series or read this book. It applies to anything, like any type of goal. If you want a relationship, it applies to that. If you want to go on holiday, it applies to that. If you'd like to create a business, or I don't know, like whatever you want, this this book can apply to that. So you can have a burning desire for money, but then you could also have, example, a burning desire to lose weight or to become fit. So Napoleon starts by telling a story about this man called Edwin Barnes. And Edwin Barnes really had this desire to become a business associate with Thomas Edison. So you know Thomas Edison was the inventor. So he had a really burning desire. But the problem was that Barnes didn't know Edison. He'd never met him. It wasn't like he was an acquaintance who he could just phone up and be like, hey, I want to go into business with you. So he didn't know him. It was basically a celebrity. And the second thing was that he didn't have enough money to get to him, so to transport to him. I think they lived in different cities. But he had this really burning desire that he wanted to work with him. And note the word with. So he didn't want to work for him, he wanted to work with him. He wanted to be a business associate, like a partner with him. So he held this desire, and then since he couldn't afford the railway fare to get to Orange, New Jersey, which was where Edison lived, he went via freight train. So I think a freight train is like a, you know, where they carry goods and stuff. So maybe he just illegally jumped on and went via that way. So he had this burning desire and he made it possible. So there was an obstacle, and then he was like, okay, we're going via freight train, and then he went to the same city. Then he went to Edison, somehow ended up just like walked in, requested to speak to him. And he said, hello, I would really like to become your business partner. And bear in mind that this Barnes looked a bit like a tramp. He wasn't the most poor person. He wasn't wearing a suit or anything. Like, you could see that he was poor. And then Edison, like, apparently looked at this man and he saw this like absolute desire in him, and it just like he knew that this man knew what he wanted and he wasn't going to leave until he got it, basically. So like Edison could see this like glint in this man's eye, and he knew there was something special about him. So he didn't say, okay, cool, you can become my business partner. He didn't say that, but he did give him a job. So he gave him a job in like the offices and with like the menial work. So yeah, so he gave him a job, but like Barnes didn't immediately get what he was looking for. So Barnes ended up working in the company, but like lower down, for 5 years. And he just kept working, but he kept his desire in his head. So he didn't ever say, oh, okay, well, like 5 years has passed, I'm not going to ever become a business associate with him, let me just give up, or let me just go work somewhere else. He kept it the whole time, and he just diligently continued to work there, and he was waiting for his opportunity. And then one day he found out that there was this new invention that Edison had come up with. So it was called an Ediphone. I think that's how you pronounce it, an Ediphone maybe. so there was this machine called an Ediphone, and Edison really loved this machine, but his sales department didn't think that it would sell. So Edison was like, I love this Ediphone, but his sales department was like, nah, this isn't gonna sell, let's just give up, no one's gonna buy this, and whatever. And then that's when Barnes hopped up and said, I know for a fact that I can sell this Ediphone. And he said he also believed in it, but this was his opportunity. This was his opportunity to become a business associate. And then Edison obviously was like, oh yay, somebody believes in my product. If you believe you can sell it, then great. And then they ended up going into business together. So Edison created it, and Barnes ended up selling it, and it was actually very successful, which was also super interesting because I feel like it was only successful because Barnes believed in it, and he went out and he sold it, and like, salespeople work better when they believe in their products. So yeah, as we can see, it was a very crazy dream of his. Most people would say it's impossible. I mean, imagine if you now think of your favorite celebrity, you might think it would sound crazy if you were like, one day I would like to work with my favorite celebrity. But this is what this Barnes did. He wanted to work with this celebrity, and then he made it happen. So that's what a burning desire is. It's something it fuels you. It's not just something where you're like, oh yeah, well, I didn't see success after 2 seconds, so I'm just going to give up. It's something that keeps you going, and it's something that you're willing to give everything up for. So with Barnes, like, he moved cities. He went and worked somewhere for 5 years. I mean, 5 years is quite a lot. And he stayed there and he waited for his opportunity. And I think what's important with this is, I don't think it's enough just to have a desire. I feel like you have to desire something so much that you're willing to take action. So he could have been like, oh, I really want to work with Edison. I really, really want to work with Edison. Really want to work with Edison. And then 10 years later, I really want to work with Edison. And he's still sitting in the exact same place. But that wasn't the case. He said, okay, how do I work for him? First, I have to get into the same city as him. Then I have to ask him to become his business partner. I need to state my intention. Then when he didn't get that, then he needed to work there for 5 years. Then when the opportunity came where he could sell this product, he didn't just go like, oh, well, like, I'm at the bottom here, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not a salesperson. He stood up and said, I believe I can sell this product. So he took action, and he was very intentional about what he wanted. And then he made it come into reality. And then Napoleon Hill also mentions in this particular chapter, he mentions a story about his son who was born without ears, and then because of that he was a deaf mute. But Napoleon Hill desired that his child would be normal and he would be able to hear and speak. So he had this desire, and he used to like feed this information to his child, and then slowly the child did get hearing, and this child actually became someone who took initiative. So despite his fallbacks and his disability, he went out of the way and took action and became successful. And that was because Napoleon Hill taught that skill to him. Well, that belief. He had so much self-belief. I mean, he had so much belief in his son, and because of that, his son ended up gaining that belief. Yeah, but you can learn more about that story. I didn't say everything. There's a lot more details in the book. So just before ending this episode off, I want to share with you a 6-step method that Napoleon shares in his book. So this is a 6-step method of how to get what you want and how to reach a goal using the desire method. So the first step is to fix in your mind the exact amount of money that you desire. And like I said earlier, it doesn't just have to be money. This is just what he uses money, but he says it can be absolutely anything. So we're just going to use money as an example, but it could be anything. It could be fixed the amount of the weight that you would like to weigh, or the holiday that you would like, or whatever it is, or the relationship that you would like. So basically you have to fix in your mind the exact amount of money that you desire, and you mustn't be vague about it. You mustn't just say oh, plenty of money, because what's plenty? You have to know, I would like to make $100,000. Like, it has to be something that's very specific. So not just like, oh, a lot of money or whatever. Because I think if you are vague, it's like you don't believe that you could actually make $100,000. If that makes sense. If you're just like, oh, plenty, then you could just change your idea of what plenty is. Like, you don't know. So you need to be completely specific about what you want. So have the definite amount. Then step 2 is to determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. So with Barnes' example, in his mind, he knew that he wanted to become a business associate or a business partner with Edison. That was his intention. It wasn't for him, it was with him. He wanted to be his partner. And then what he decided to give up, firstly he moved cities, went on the freight train. Then he was willing to like stake his dignity. I mean, it's quite a scary thing just to walk into a building and be like, hello, I want a job, or not even I want a job, I want to be your business associate. And then he was willing to work there for 5 years. So you need to say, how much are you willing to give? And if your desire is big enough, you should be able to give anything in order to achieve that. So with money, what are you willing to give? Are you willing to give time? Are you willing to give up like social events? Are you willing to give up free time? Are you willing, like, what are you willing to give up? So be very specific about that. For example, if you'd like to lose weight, are you willing to give like time and effort and eating healthily and exercising and putting yourself through that hard work? Then step 3 is to establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. So don't just say, oh yes, I hope to make 100,000 Rand one day. Because I feel like the problem with that is that if you say one day, then you hold off action. Because the further away the deadline is, the less likely you are to actually do it. I mean, that's what I always found at university, example, where they used to change the deadline. Or when people used to say, please change the deadline. And I'm like, you're still going to do it the day before. So what does changing the deadline even matter? So you need to have in your head, when are you going to achieve this money by? And so I'd like to earn $100,000 in a month in the 31st of December 2021. So actually say, or I'm going to achieve this in the 30th of April 2022. So say in your mind, like, what is the deadline? When are you going to achieve this by? Then step 4 is to create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you're ready or not to put the plan into action. So once you've decided, this is what I want, this is what I'm willing to give up, and this is when I'm going to achieve it by, now you need to come up with a plan. So example, if you wanted to lose a particular amount of weight, so let's say 10 kilos, you want to lose 10 kilos, and now you've said, I'm going to achieve this by the 31st of December 2021, and I'm willing to give up, I'm going to eat healthily and exercise. Now write down on your plan, on Monday I'm going to eat this. On Tuesday I'm going to eat this, if meal prep is something that works for you. Or you can say, or you could even say, like, on Monday I'm going to do this exercise, on Tuesday I'm going to do this exercise, I found this program, this is what I'm going to eat, this is what I'm not going to eat, this is how much water I'm going to drink. So you need to have a plan. So instead of just being like, oh la la, like, I want to lose weight, la la la, and like put it out to the universe. No, what are you going to do in order to achieve that? You're the one who has to achieve it. The universe isn't going to do it for you. The universe may give you opportunities. So example, like for me, I'm trying to like lose weight and become healthier and that, and then my friend I've spoken about her before on this channel. She was actually on this channel. Her name's Kath Binney. And actually in her video, she was speaking about it. There's this personal trainer called Pamela Reif. And she told me like 4 times last year, oh, Pamela Reif, Pamela Reif, Pamela Reif. And I was just like, okay, whatever. And it wasn't until I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to become healthier and exercise, that I was like, oh, maybe I should try out this Pamela Reif. And she's actually incredible, by the way. I actually enjoy exercise so much more because of her. But it was like, I got that opportunity because I wouldn't have known her without Kath telling me that. But Kath's not going to do the exercise for me, and the universe isn't either. Like, I have to say, okay, I'm going to do her program as well and do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm going to eat healthily. This is how much water I'm going to drink. So you need to have a plan in place. And I also think it's interesting where he said you need to begin at once whether you're ready or not. And that's the thing, is sometimes we're like, oh, I'll do it when I'm ready, or I don't feel confident enough to do it. And the truth is you're never ready. You need to push yourself into the discomfort and the uncomfort. Like, if you've never done something before, you're not used to doing something, you're not going to feel ready or comfortable to do it. But once you do that thing and you do it multiple times, then you are going to feel ready, because you're going to feel comfortable and you're used to what you're doing. So even if you're not ready, even if you feel like you're going to be ridiculous, just step out and do it. And take into account that all successful people started with nothing. Everyone had to take that first step. Like, everyone who starts their own business, everyone had to make that decision to start the business. There was a stage where that business wasn't created, was only in their mind, and they had to take that first step. And now they're doing like wonderfully and successfully and marvelously, and you may be like, oh, they're so wonderful and incredible. But they used to be in your shoes. They had to make that first decision. So you could literally become successful in this have this incredible business, but it's not going to happen unless you start, unless you take those first steps. Then step number 5 is to write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, or your goal. So write it down. Get a piece of paper and write down a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire. Name the time limit for its acquisition. State what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. So, example, with the exercise thing, you may say, write out a clear thing. So you take a piece of paper and you write that I would like to lose 10 kilograms by the 31st of December 2021. So I've said the time limit. Then what I intend to give up, I intend to eat healthily, so say no to junk food, and to exercise every day and drink a lot of water. And then my plan, then you would write down your plan. Now my plan is to follow the Pamela Reif workout and do that every single day, and to drink 2.5 liters every single day, and to not eat like carbs and sugar and sweet. So have a particular plan. So yeah, write that on a piece of paper. And then step 6, which is the final step, it says read your written statement. So you've just written that on a piece of paper. Read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before retiring at night, and once after rising in the morning. We can see that this was written in the past, just before retiring at night and arising in the morning. And as you read, see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money or the goal. So you've written your thing. Now you have to read it when you wake up in the morning, read it. And when you go to bed at night, you must also read it. And don't just read it. Actually be present when you're reading it, and visualize yourself achieving that goal. So when you've lost weight, example, and your ideal weight, what is it going to be like? Are you going to be like prancing around and like, yay? Like, imagine how that feels. Imagine what you look like. Just imagine how it feels. Or when you earn that $100,000 in December, are you going to be like, You're going to be like, whoa, like, you're going to be like cheering and happy. So really visualize yourself feeling that. And I mean, you may be wondering, oh, what does visualization even do? Like, what's the point of that? And it actually does quite a lot, because the thing is that, so you know, with our brain, we have our conscious mind and then we have our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind is the thing that controls our behavior. So on the top, you may say to yourself, oh, like, I want to lose, or like, I want to earn 100,000 Rand. So you could feel that, but then your subconscious doesn't believe that you can make that amount of money, because your subconscious has been, it's been taught different things from the people around you. So most people, well, most people I'm with would think that it's absolutely crazy to earn 100,000 Rand a month. Like, there's a lot of people who be like, that's impossible, that's impossible. Look at the environment that you're in, look at other people, you can't earn that amount of money, And then because of that, your subconscious believes, oh no, it's impossible to actually earn that. But it's not impossible. Like, tons of people make 100,000 Rand in a month. Like, anyone can do it. So, but your subconscious has this belief that, oh, I can't do it. And then because your subconscious controls your behavior, it means that you're never going to step out of the door and start the business. You're never going to take action and do the thing because you don't believe it's possible. So instead of doing anything about it, or coming up with an idea, or like looking for a possibility of how do I actually earn 100,000 Rand, you just sit on the chair and remain the same way you are, watching TV, just not trying or doing anything. And then your results aren't going to be good one, because you're never going to get it, because there was no action and there was no behavior. There was no correct behavior. But if your subconscious is one that's, and your actual belief system inside is, I can make money, I can make 100,000 Rand in a month, that's possible, I have the potential to do that. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but I believe that I can. Then because you hold that belief, you'll go out and look for ways in order to earn that amount of money. So you're not just going to sit at home and be like, oh, Netflix and whatever. You're going to go out and be like, how can I earn this money? Okay, cool, I'm going to start this business, I'm going to work with this person, I'm going to market in this way, I'm going to do this. And then that person's taking action and doing it, and that person's very likely to earn that amount of money because they're trying to do it. So that's why these things, I was saying, like, that's why it's important to say these little things, because the thing is we can reprogram our subconscious by feeding ourselves like words, like self-affirmations. So if your subconscious is like, I can never make money, then start saying to yourself, I can make money, 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 I can make this amount of money, I am wealthy. If you tell yourself that twice a day for a year, I can assure you that you will start believing it. You will start seeing, oh, actually I can make money. And then once your mind changes, your behavior is going to change. So that's why these self-affirmations are extremely important. And it's not that difficult to just, well, in my opinion, it's not that difficult to just read something twice a day. I mean, that's not exactly the action part. Just read something twice a day, really try, believe it and feel it. That's not all that much, that's not too difficult. And then it's great because your subconscious is going to change, and then the action is going to seem easier. So before it could be like, oh, that sounds awful, that sounds horrible, but it's because you don't believe that it can happen. But if you do believe, if you believe you're not going to fail and you will make money, then it's going to be easier to take that action. Thank you very much for watching my first episode of the series Think and Grow Rich. Like I said, there are 14 principles, so there's going to be 14 episodes, and the next episode will be out next week. So yeah, but have you heard of Napoleon Hill? Have you read this book? Because I've heard this book come up quite a lot and I've never actually read it. But yeah, I'd love to know, have you read it? What did you think of it? And if you feel comfortable, please feel free to comment down below your desire, your burning desire, maybe your written statement that you've written in step number 5 and that you're reading every day, step number 6. I'd love to hear like what your dream is, even if you don't think that other people believe in you and whatever. Remember, those are just their limitations. You can do absolutely anything, and I completely 100% believe in you. If you said, I want to create a farm on Jupiter for llamas, I'd be like, I'm pretty sure there's a way to do that. I completely believe in you and back you up, and I don't think any of your dreams or your beliefs are ridiculous or can't be achieved. I completely believe that they can. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please comment down below what you thought, please share this with anyone you think would benefit from this, and then please hit subscribe down below. You'll see it in red, so that you can press the bell next to it so that you get notifications each time I post a new video. And thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next week with the second episode. Bye guys!